to all my people. Welcome to my podcast, Hiddenn Tales. It's all about perfect women, and today the talk is all about taking care of the creator, and that is women. I'm super excited to have this conversation because the first time in India, the launching is all about a breast cancer vaccination with the help of AI. So let's meet the personalities of genetics research and know more about the vaccination, which is about to be launching soon in India. So here I have Dr. Arun Jaitly.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me for the show. So, introducing myself in a normal background about myself is that I did a master's and a PhD from Queen Mary University of London, and my background is about biomedical engineering. It's a very different type of education background that I have, which is comprising about both medical and engineering backgrounds. Studying about the medicine and involving little bit of engineering gave me a little bit of power to combine both the streams and to have a product called a vaccination today, which is giving me a recombinant little bit of a DNA technology, we say, that it can cure and precure both the things at the same time. And I also wrote a lot of papers, research articles for Nature and Science Direct. A very prominent magazines for that. And I was supervised by my Professor Rob Cramps. He works from cardiovascular field in University of London. And we were actually, both me and Dr. Rios, we were combined for this small project. And where he came from a different background from artificial intelligence, and I had my own different background for medical biology. Basically, we combined something, and we together formed a company called Genetics, and I'm a CEO of the company, and he's the CFO and CTO of the company. And you can call him.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction of myself there. So very glad to be here. So yeah, my name is Dr. Arun, so it is Dr. Alejandro Rios. I also did my PhD in the same university. We were in the same group of research, but my main background is on computer science. So basically I did a medical engineering PhD, but I'm more into the AI. So for me, when I started this journey 4 years back, I was more into the AI. So I came to this bioengineering field, and I started working very closely with Dr. Jaitly on this vaccine development back in the day. And together we formed our own company called Genetics Research. We said I am the, you said, of course, we each other individually lead a team of researchers. So I usually lead the AI team, and he in the lab and this type of things.
Well, what happened was that he was working for AI part of my project, and I was working on a laboratory, more into laboratory, niche area of the biology. Inside the laboratory doesn't know what's happening outside. And together when we aligned for one common interest area, and first of all, the project was not related to oncogenes, the cancer that we're talking about. It was related more about the cardiovascular research, because my professor works on atherosclerosis, a very prominent disease for the heart related things. And we were working together, sharing data to each other. And it was very common that we both met via Oxford project, and we combined together a research area. And we were producing a lot of things for the Oxford, because it was Oxford and Queen Mary together for a collaboration for our projects. And while working on that, we found a idea to let's collaborate our interest area together, because he's more theoretical and I'm more practical. So this is how the combination works. Yeah, this is how the combination works together.
So if I ask you, what made you to pursue this as a career, and specifically if I'm talking about you, as you've been into this, if I talk about biomedical engineering, the term is something very, it's more combining two professions at one go. It's medical science along with the engineering. So how would you define this, your interest on the same?
Well, I would say that I also studied life sciences, very prominent field of science background, where it gives liberty to study everything. If you don't know where your interest lies, you can study immune sciences, virology, recombinant, other types of different areas of sciences from there. And when I decided to go to London to pursue my higher studies, especially for masters, I was looking for such prominent fields which has more impact for the research and could give back to the, I would say, healthcare and the, I would say, mankind. So I had to look of the term was biomedical. It was sciences and engineering. So I thought biomedical sciences is more about what I studied. So they just renamed the degree biomedical sciences. What I studied is the same thing, little but in broader aspect, specialization, I would say. Engineering gave me the power to actually study those things, to invent, to think, and to produce more capability that you can do something, but you have to use more both the sides of the brain together to think for a good product. Basically, my plan was to bring everything back to India, studying there and coming back to India, and then starting something of my own and can like aware people. I would say the youth, the current students, that this is also the very good area of prospectus where you can align your practical knowledge to produce something, an innovation type of thing. So it is more into that terminology where AI is also the part of biomedical engineering, where he comes from that.
Yes, that's what something which I found it more interesting, because you have added a different twist altogether. When we talk about medicine and inculcating the AI in it, it really gives a different impact. So how was your experience, and how did you thought, yes, this would be something which is going to work wonders for the women?
I've always been a little passionate for computer science, especially on the AI. So before starting back in the day my PhD, I was looking for some projects to work on, and I have given like a few options out there. One was on the natural resource with AI, which I didn't find that much interesting. But then I found out like, okay, people is applying AI now for things like mental health and like healthcare, medication and things like this. I saw the project that my professor at that time was working on the atherosclerosis, so I went for it. I met him and I said like, hey, I know you're not applying AI, but I have some good ideas. I think it can be very helpful for the research. So that's how my things started from there. I understood a little more at that time, like, okay, this can actually be very helpful on this field. And when Dr. Arun and I was studying these genes from like the breast cancer, for example, we decided to go for something that can be helpful for women, because in my case, like people in my family have suffered from breast cancer before. So it was like, at that time we had some options like kidney, we have the prostate cancer genes, and one of them was breast cancer. So we were sitting in the lab and we said like, okay, which one is gonna be the one that we're gonna focus our work on? And I said like, I think we should go for breast cancer, because I think it's a cancer that it's been like out there for so much long, and I've seen like women suffer about it. So if my idea was to make positivity with AI, why don't start doing it for women first?
Absolutely. This is, as we say, that women, not just for women, every healer, if I'm talking about a term, are the ones who have been through a lot of deepest zone of pain. So then they turn to be the healers. Since you people have been stepping into a zone which is more, not just about competition, but yes, of course, the filled with challenges. So if I ask you, what were the challenges that you people have gone through? And I feel it should be going on.
I think the most important part that we were going on was about the criticism we have to face. It was both positive and negative to us. But in the starting, you are saying something that we have it.
Yes.
And something coming from, we are not a big company. We are not that big renowned scientist we are getting a Nobel Prize from. And also, like, we just graduated, we got our PhD degrees in our hand, and suddenly we are saying that, oh, we have the cure. It was little something, they are just like being delusional. They don't know anything about it. They don't know the scientific terminologies, and they're saying that we know it. Because I don't know about India, I know about the US and UK, because I have stayed much more time there. And there, the people after doing a PhD have to go through 3 to 4 years of research projects. So we went to University of Sheffield, very good department, and the professor who was working there was also one of my colleagues with my current supervisor there. And we talked about that we have something very nice. This is a cure and a precaution. So he was like, no, you can't say like that. It is not possible. If it was that, then why did other people didn't do it? They have to publish something out. How could you do it, which is impossible for young people like you? You don't have experience, you don't know anything about it, and your PhDs are in different field. How could you do it then? So he called more people from hospital, and we have to speak about it after that. So it was next days. We have to stay in Sheffield, and the meetings were called over the cancer hospitals and everything. So we had to sit in a panel. It was like more at a grinding, the grilly sanction for us. Tell us about how did you found it out. So we were telling about the things. That time we didn't knew that we don't have to say a lot. People can copy, people can do a lot of things. We didn't apply for the NDAs, didn't apply for the patents, and nothing happened. It was very niche, because we were looking that we can all collaborate together, we can formalize something, and we can also grow, and they can also help us to grow in our permanent careers. There, the thing happened that they started grilling us. They gave us a very negative feedback. They said that you go back to the universities, take up your things from there, work hard, be lecturers, then write papers, and then might you able to get a very nice idea in future. This is nothing gonna happen like that. We contacted more hospitals. We applied for the patent. We submit all the things for the UK government there, and within the 4 months we got the first patent approved.
Wow.
And then we applied for trademarks. We were looking for more and more things like that. We were still looking for hospitals to at least believe that something is there. Prominent pharmaceutical companies are AstraZeneca, Moderna. Then we have Serum Institute here, the biggest world manufacturers.
Yeah.
Very nice to have something like that on the platform today in India, because they produce a lot of big things, and especially for COVID times. There were other pharmaceuticals also, like I would say, I bought pharmaceuticals is also there. And we try to collaborate with one of each people, because we know that something could be done. We are very young people, so we can help them, and we can get help from them. That was the initial idea. Because setting up a pharmaceutical without a prior knowledge is like very bad idea in the beginning. So we have to go a lot of challenges. Still we are facing it, but I think now it's become more like a sporty spirit for us, because we know how to prove people wrong, because it was a long journey, still a journey about that. And I think via your podcast, via your things, we can also say that we also got a patent for kidney cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, we have a lot to do.
Yes.
This is what we always say. He keeps me very grounded. So yeah, he what to tell that we have a lot to do, we have a lot to achieve right now. And I think it's just a starting basically. Is basically still awareing the people that nothing is impossible. More about the current prominent ways of the treatment like chemo, radio, immuno, hormonal. We have a new way called vaccination. And I think because of the COVID, we got a very good idea how to prevent ourselves, how to get immunized by ourselves, how to help our body to grow and to fight the diseases. Basically, that was the whole idea about that. So we combined all the specific treatments pathways into one dosage called the vaccine, which we are claiming that you will not get side effects. And also there's no need for surgeries. You're going to be detected early stages. You're going to get a treatment for that. You're going to get cured out of that. And you will never have a breast cancer or any form of cancer. We can say via breast, you won't have any form of cancer, but then again you have for kidney, people might get it. So this is how we're planning about the things about this.
So in this case, since we've been talking about the vaccination, so can you just put some light on the vaccination itself? Because ultimately, vaccine is the hero of the entire podcast.
Yeah.
So, and we need to brief more about it, because the listeners definitely would be wanting to know the basic forte behind the vaccination. So when we talk about any vaccination, you just have to give that brief to everybody, because no wonder the challenges that you have gone through, and I can see the young minds have been working on this, which is in another term called to be one of the biggest disease in India as well, because it's a growing rates are high. And when we talk about women, women are the least one to take care of themselves. For them to give this awareness, definitely I'll be needing one point, that is what tips you will be giving them so that they can self-examine themselves, because that is the first step what they have to go for. And then how this vaccination can help them, because when we talk about vaccination, they have that fear in themselves. There should not be any side effect.
Yeah. So I can take Dr. Yusuf. I have a liberty to answer that thing.
Yeah. You're the best person for answer about it.
So I think starting with the first question, I would say that the thing is that when we went to the hospital and finally we gave a sample for the first time to get UK MHRA license for that. It was basically for the animal trial studies, that okay, if you're saying something, let's see it on the animals.
Absolutely.
It is just only the way that you can treat on animals, then see for the humans at the same time. So we induced the disease and we have a vaccine for that, for this disease. It took 40-day period basically to see the changes. First 20 days for the disease inducing. Basically disease inducing is where you are asking an animal and we are giving an injection to have the similar breast cancer what the women have to go through. But in the mice model, then we have a pig model and then we have a horse model. So there are 3 different animals. We got 100% success rate for the curing of that. And when hospitals saw that, and when we were asked that, do you want to go for volunteers or you want to apply directly on the patients now? So there was a choice given to us. We said, let's do on the volunteers as well. Let's see what happens there. So we did on the volunteers, we got the similar result. Then on the phase 2 when it happened, we started applying on the patients as well. So the first thing that we saw in the patients was a scare, a fear. that there was already a very prominent treatments there, so why should we apply a vaccine now? And there was a choice given for COVID vaccines also. A lot of people didn't have the COVID vaccines. They said, yeah, we don't want to have it. Let us have the COVID. We will take it like that. And if we survive, we survive. If it didn't survive, that's our choice. We are free to have it. So we requested the patients to at least have it for once time. So the only question they asked me that, I'm going to have a hair loss then. Because chemo also for hair loss, and I'm going to have a hair loss. I don't want to have a hair loss. Whether I'm going to die, I'm going to get a different diseases. What is going to be happening to my nervous system? I'm going to have a trauma. What is going to have my heart rate? It's going to have a high palpitations.
Palpitation. I was about to tell you the same thing.
So, and I was like, nothing is going to happen. We know what we made it and we know how to control it. At least have it for the first time. So 25 minutes it took for the patients to like calm her down and to get the vaccine inside her. And of course, there was a different fear. No, I'm afraid of injections, please. So we said, you have to take it in the way and you will get to know what is happening with you. After 5 days, we saw a change in her. We saw that the tumor is decreasing. So we got to know that side effects, because this is giving a confidence to the women to have a vaccination. And she was self-motivated by herself that it will try to treat her and try to cut down the cost which is affected by the different treatment centers about that. So I would say that the side effects are not there at all because we know that what we created. Basically the side effects, and apart from that there are also other body cells which also gets grown, like we have immune B cells, immune T cells. People who know about this medical terminologies, they will relate more about that because there is a whole cancer life cycle. Because cancer is basically a dead cell or a live cell growth and which spreads from one organ to other. I will say cell to cell, then tissue to tissue and tissue to organ. This is how the stages are there. And lot of body cells get destroyed. Lot of good blood supply get destroyed. And I will say there is also the loss of the life in the end. That's why that's uncontrollable. People die on the bed. And this is what we were trying to aware the people about. In terms for the breast cancer, it also happens in the males. It's not only the women, it's also the males. In the US, in the UK, in South Africa, and also in India, I didn't know the cases more about that. I have studied a different world market. And I was also trying to aware myself that it could be happen. In the terms of males, it's studied on the basis of hormonal level, estrogen and progesterone, how it plays for the male, because both the hormones are present in the females also. And for females, the diagnosis area is very different. You have to see the size of the nipple, you have to touch, you have to be, it's very hard, it's very tense. The similar type of studies you have to do for the male also, but the infection occurs in the lungs. So lungs gets properly destroyed. So when we say that the person has a lung cancer, it's prominent, it has a breast cancer, but the area was affected is more lungs because men's doesn't have that much of the cases. Where in women's, it morely a whole tissue gets supplied and destroyed about that. And the whole blood vessel is damaged out of that. It doesn't mean that you won't have again. You will be having again the cancer. Once you have it again, you're going to be having. It's more easy for the cancer cells to again grow and to spread about that. So our treatment is much more safe in a way that you never have to go to anything. You just take a vaccine shot and you're safe. This is all we're playing. It's very hard to believe for the public at the same time. But once the campaigns are run properly, because we are about to supply our first order for the UK on a very heavy basis. Our phase 3 is about to end on 30th April and this year, and we already are going to be launching the vaccine in the UK in July, the first week of July. So this is what the whole thing was about, and we have to do very self-awareness campaigns in India as well. I would say whole world, because women still doesn't know. So we have to educate. Sometimes doctors say a lot of things which is not true. They don't directly give up. Now she's going to die now. It's nothing, there is no cure. So
absolutely, I agree to this, and this is very common also. So if I ask you, what is the Indian rates that you have noticed when we talk about biotech here in India? And when we talk about breast cancer in India, so the first thing is we'll be discussing about genetic, and when are we going to expect the vaccinations in India, and how can a person approach? Because like when a person normally, when we've been conducting any gynecologist been taking care of, so how they are in touch with with the entire vaccination team, because they already have their own vaccination sets. So it has to be reached to everybody, it has to reach the mass. And when we're talking about right now, since I feel it is about to be launching in India, so probably from Jan 2025.
Yes, that's correct.
Most probably
Yeah.
will be able to access the vaccination in India, right? So how can a person, how it will be reached out?
So what we did is that like we have supplied and we have applied for a DCGI license, which is the only drug control license in India. Paperwork is completed, and right now the scenario is more going for a political elections at the moment, so our licenses are a little bit on a different way, but we're going to be getting that thing. Apart from that, we started our own journey with the different hospitals, the big hospital groups. So we have governmental hospitals, private and semi-private, and NGO hospitals to be combined and collaborate with us. We are also talking to different cancer specialists over here, and I think that is the only initiative we can take to aware people, because doctors will also not able to accept very easily a new way of treating a person which is already there, like for chemo, radio. They know their ways and how to treat the surgeries, because if vaccination is launched in India, which is we are expecting January 2025, could happen in December also this year.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be disrupting a market. There's already supply chain. There's already a lot of like distributors. They have their own instruments in the hospital. They have their own sets of the thing, own pharmacists. It's all gonna be disrupting a market somewhere for a new product.
Alright.
So there will be a new shelf created for vaccinations there. So our idea was that let's try to collaborate Fortis, Vedanta, Apollo. Then we have other government hospitals like AIIMS, Safdarjung. We were trying to collaborate with them, so that in such a way that they understand the importance of a vaccine, but also try to aware of people that there is a new prominent way of coming. I was reading yesterday that there's a diabetes vaccine which got into market now. And apart from that, there's already HPV vaccines are there. There is cervix vaccine are there, already there for cancer. So there are a lot of vaccinations, but still people doesn't want to take vaccines. They want to go for the old terminal, I would say more conservative ways for that treatment of doctor. But I think vaccinations could be a new generation where it's gonna be leading a market, but in next 5 to 6 years. And I think it's only possible when the doctors all work together with us and try to promote the thing with the Indian government, and government can also take initiative, because our duty is to supply the product to the government, and then government can decide how to circulate in the market.
Right.
Because we are manufacturers. If we interfere with their ways, then it's gonna be like you're gonna run it then.
Right.
So it's better that to combine with them and collaborate in such a way that everyone can get the vaccines, and we too want that it should be free of charge. This is what our initiative is, that because this is for the women and this is for the mankind. Healthcare, giving something back to the healthcare. And then we can also create ourselves a self-awareness. We have currently 98.9% success rate. I'm telling about the human trial phase 3 which is running in the UK. And same, we got FDA licenses. Then we got COFEPRIS from Mexico. So we have licenses based on the studies we did, and also they will apply on the women's over there. Very new way of technology, but still I would say that a lot of initiative have to be taken, because it's not about India, it's also about global market.
Absolutely.
Everyone has to be taken in consideration, because there is no pandemic like COVID. The cancer was still there.
It was still there, it is still there, and it's
Yeah.
going to be there.
And it won't be there.
Yes, absolutely.
We want that to eradicate the disease like we eradicated polio. When virus could be eradicated, then we can do cancer also, something inside the body. So this is what we are trying to do. And we are still trying to aware the people in our own ways. But I think via your podcast, I think the first step is that the people who are going to be reading, who are going to listening about this, who are going to watch about that, they're going to take and they're going to be reading about it more in detail. That what is this vaccine all about? How it is been made? What compound it contains? Which protein is targeting? Which tissue is targeting? Which tumor is going to? So this gonna be a little bit of a curiosity for them, that to understand that yeah, this is okay, that is something else, and how the human market and how the hospitals can access to that, and when it is coming. So this is what we want, because there are a lot of women who are getting untreated also.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about India. In government hospitals, if you see that not everyone can afford a cancer treatment. It's very expensive.
true.
And now we're giving something for free, and we're saying that it will save the lives. So that's the whole journey to be like captured to a trust factors then.
Absolutely.
So it's like a very big initiative from our side, but I think government of India will try to help us out when the product comes in the market then.
Can you discuss some specific initiatives or partnerships that you're looking to expand genetic research?
I would say the expectation is that how the product gets accepted in the market and for the price of affordability. We are saying an initiative, and we are also trying to merge with the government for having it for free.
Yes.
I know that private hospitals will be still charging something, but we want it to be free. Like, I think that's the best thing, because in UK, when there was some initiative taking place, the only thing which the government took place with NHS was that all the hospitals, whether private or like governmental or semi-government, has to mandate this vaccine for all the age groups of the women, starting from age 16 until 64 and above, and it should be free of cost. This is what they sold to us, and we want the similar thing to happen in the India as well, because not everyone knows about this, and not everyone can go and find a nearby clinic, okay, let's have a breast cancer vaccine, because there is a demand and supply shortage all the time. But we don't want to have it. We want to have it in a bulk, so everyone from rural tier 4, tier 5 to tier 1, everyone can have it. And I think this has only been done on the basis of how far we can fetch that with the government, and how government can put more and more initiatives on this kind of product which we want to have it. I think that breast cancer bridges could come in a curative way for the women, but in a different cycle for them as well. Because if you think about the stages of cancer, stage 0 to stage 4 and 4 above, yeah. Stage 0 is basically no one knows about the cancer. Stage 2 onwards, people get to know when the symptoms becomes little higher. So we want to prevent that on the stage 0 as well. For every woman who doesn't have a breast cancer is stage 0, which I have set on the standardized thing with Dr. Rios analysis and his beautiful AI software which he developed with us, is that all the women are stage 0. They don't know.
Absolutely agree to you. So, since we've been talking about Dr. Rios, so what sparked your interest in artificial intelligence, and how do you see AI reshaping the landscape of healthcare and biotechnology in the coming years?
It is becoming like a big thing in the research field day by day, and every day you can see a new article posted about how AI it's been used not only for things like personalized medicine, but also on the creation of new medications. I really think that in the next 5 years, 6 years maybe, it's going to be a very different way on how we see like the products going out on the market, especially for medications, vaccinations, even insights of your own body. So might also devices are going to come out that are going to be using AI, that it's going to be constantly like monitoring the body to get to know like way better like understanding of, okay, this person might cause a disease in a few years. Like these predictive models will be able to say like, yeah, this person based on his genetic patterns that he have right now might catch like X disease in a few years, and we'll be able to calculate exactly when it's going to be happening. And in that sense, it will be able to prevent it very fast beforehand. So it's going to be a way new paradigm on how healthcare functions, and also included like in the devices that we see in the hospitals. All these old devices that use very old technology that are out there are going to be replaced with new AI softwares that are going to be able to do way more stuff that we haven't even seen before. So definitely I think it's going to be like a new way, much better, bright future for the humankind.
Well, I would like to add up to this, because when you were like discussing about his thing for AI, I would say one thing, he's been very generous here, because he didn't added one more thing to you, that like he was the first student for whole university to have AI for medical background.
Oh.
So he used to he was in touch with my professor that time, because I did masters under him only. I didn't knew his story. I didn't knew the whole cause, that why we collaborated, how we wanted to do for breast cancer, because his idea was for breast cancer here. And he used to write emails to the Professor Krams that, yeah, I would like to collaborate. I would like to collaborate. And my professor used to discuss with us back in the team, all of the group of the people together, how could we bring AI now? What is AI? I don't know about AI. He's little in a different field of the work, and AI is not used for him at that time much more. Now, today he uses it all because of him, but that time was a little different. How to have AI, artificial intelligence? This is a computing thing. I can't do Photoshops. I can't do how could I use somewhere these things now? And brilliantly then we discussed a project. It was all of us people, including me in the group that time. It was all basically biomedical scientists working in the laboratory. And we say, yeah, we can do this project for arterial sclerosis. You can use an AI. We read a lot of papers, lot of research background to bring him. And then he came, and then whatever we thought about, it was all disrupted. No, sir, we have to do this now. The idea was different. The idea was completely changed. And then it was, I don't know how it happened, because we also grew a friendship. So 2019 we started. And then by the end of the 2022, we discussed that, yeah, we are going to have incorporating a company.
Okay, fine. As a software architect, how do you balance the need of innovation and reliability in developing AI-driven solutions for complex medical challenges?
In terms of the balance, sometimes it's more about like the data that you're using for the balance. There is like this formula for like any AI model that it's very focused on the data that you're using, and that will basically give you the more approachable or the more precise prediction out of it. And so when we were working constantly in the lab, sometimes like finding the proper data, it's like a little bit of a problem, because you have to find like some data without the disease, data with the disease itself, data with the genetic person that might have the disease. This is how you need to find a way to be proper balanced, to have the most accurate and best prediction out of it. But there are still some challenges there that for example, are existing right now, that you can't use like the data from one country and try to apply it in another one. This is like something that it's still a challenge out there, to make it like very general for everyone, for every type of population. Because of course there is like this environmental thing around the data, especially when it comes to gene or genomic data, like diet influence, weather influence. So these things makes that this same information that is, or data that is being gathered in India, for example, can't be applied in the UK, and vice versa. It doesn't work. And I think like in the case of self-driving cars, that was also a big problem. Like there was like these Tesla cars that have been trained with images and videos, footages of the streets of, for example, California. And when they tried to bring a car to the UK directly, it just crashed. Not because people in the UK doesn't know how to drive, which kind of they don't, but the problem is that there is very much difference in the environmental aspect of data. So you have to be like very careful on how you balance the things, how you are making sure that there is no certain bias going into the algorithm where you're training it.
Back in my mind, the question was there, which I wanted to ask you. The moment that you discussed that yes, AI is going to be working for this medical system, how was the reaction and that you got from your, you can say your partners, or probably the people who have been working together?
What was my first reaction?
Well, it was a little weird for us, like
No, because you both of them are from a different field.
Yeah. So I think at first it was very complicated for us to work together, because he doesn't manage technology that well. And at that time, like, of course, during my computer science program, I used to run like genetic algorithms, but in a very basic way. So I used to spend a lot of time with this guy in the lab. Okay, explain me now this. And he was always also just call me, can you explain me something about this? He used to throw me something like some data and then let me know what you find in here. And I was like, what is this? I don't understand any single thing of this data. I don't understand what is there. I used to have to go to the lab. Okay, explain me what is this spreadsheet right here. I think at the beginning, it was like we didn't know how to get started either. We didn't know what we were doing. But we just like we're doing towards something. And we both knew that looking at some of the results, something is coming out, but we were like a little lost for the first months.
It was more about spoon feeding him.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He used to do the same with me for his technology-wise AI, because I don't know. He's correct that I don't know more about the AI. I'm still figuring out, learning about that. I always tell him, please teach me this thing. Why? You want to take my job now? No, but yeah, it was more about spoon feeding because his background is different. I would say he put a very immense appreciation I have for him, because he learned. He actually grabs it very quickly, because you are doing a fast track course for whole medical sciences in just 3 months. Imagine a lot of things to understand. Still a lot to figure it out, but it's a 3 months fast track course. You're learning everything, starting from what is a cell towards how human body is formed now. It's a whole 3 months fast track course with more data and data and data. But he, with his AI thing, AI mind, he studied 15,000 genes of the body, and that too unknown. So first of all, we are getting a data from hospital. We got a tissue sample. We separated it. I made it into the whole thing, liquid, blood cells, I've separated out now. Now we have to understand what he said, that person who doesn't have a disease, person who has a disease, person we are thinking will might have a disease, so we have to make probabilities out of it now. And after that we are like fetching the data, he's fetching the data, he's predicting the data. I am doing a mutation inside the laboratory, he's seeing the same mutation in the AI software. So a lot of miss and matches happen. And every day when we were working about this, because it was different university project for us, University of Oxford or Cambridge is a Makkah. So anyone is calling us from there, life is sorted now. So we are famous. This is every researcher wants to go once in lifetime to Oxford or Cambridge. Beautiful university and colleges there. And we were like, done. We are life is sorted, bro. We got a job now. Everything is done. We are famous scientists. Done. Now we can brag about it to the people. And every day we were working on this project. We together used to talk about, he used to say, this is not working. What he thought. And I used to say, no, we are nailing it. I know we are nailing it. One day we'll nail it somewhere. Don't worry, we're gonna keep continuing work. We used to spend 19 hours in the laboratory.
Right.
And that's different thing because it's heavy AI. So first of all, I have to rely on his software. That whatever is coming, I have to do secondly on the same in the laboratory. If something goes wrong, his software training goes wrong there. So this is what we have to do, align together with interest. So we used to make a plan. We used to divide the work. We used to say that this is what we are going to be doing today. This is what I'm going to produce in the laboratory. How we have to align together, let's see, and let's wait for the best. And then I think suddenly after a month of training and like that and understanding each other's, like someone, like I'm not perfect with AI. He might not be perfect. He's little bit perfect with the science because he saw me working. He was to help me with the samples and all the things there. And he got perfect with that. So it's something like aligned together in common. And the wider space we used to have was like joined together, and this is how the things formed.
Wow, that's amazing. So congratulations for your achievements. But still there is a question in my mind, how it is going to work?
How?
So you have to just give me that brief one, because every audience, probably every woman would like to know. So once they come to know okay, AI is going to be working, they will definitely have this question in their mind, how it is going to work with the vaccination.
Okay. There is a lot of AI models that we tried out and that are there like working and properly trained for the breast cancer and specifically. What we thought, it was like, okay, we already have these models, like novel models out there, like CNN, RNN, transformers, large language models already being trained that were working for us, that were working for the project. But what can we do out of it now? Can this have any like useful product or service for the market or like for the vaccine itself? So what we thought is like, okay, let's take one piece of all this AI that it's been built for the development, export it out, create an interface, and have it like in such a way that when someone is gonna be like pinched with the vaccine, previously, we can create a prediction of how the vaccine is gonna impact the body, if it's going like in the correct target, like if it's like tackling the tumor, if the correct proteins are being generated in the body. So this is what the initial phase of the software works. It generates these graphs and it creates this basically data out of it and how it's gonna impact the body. And then once the vaccine goes inside the body, after some days, when the vaccine starts hitting with his magic, the patient comes back, they have again to the software like connected, and then it gets the actual results of the patient. It's matched the prediction with the actual, like how the actual results of how it's going. And from there, not only we can have a better insight, like if this vaccine is gonna be properly working for the patient way before, but also to might be happening that maybe for this patient, based on his genetic like data, might have a different adjustage of the of the dosage or things like that. And what this does, it's not only helping us previously know what's gonna happen, but when this match happens, we can even increase how the software works, increase the probability of prediction, so it becomes smarter and smarter after that. And at the same time, this helps us on gathering more data that is helping us on applying for different other genes in the future. Right now, what I'm saying basically is that it creates a prediction, it matches, it helps us on gather more data, and it will help us in the future also for creating new vaccines for other diseases as well, of course.
That's amazing. That means the technology is going to play, you can
Yeah.
say, the key to move magic.
Yeah, and that's the thing of AI. It always gets smarter. It's also a little bit scary, if I would say, but if it's well used, then you're gonna have a bright future with it.
When everyone was getting hit by COVID and the government was saying go in for the vaccines, have the phase 1, then go for the boosters. So when you took a vaccine shot, how would you know that it's working for your body?
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know where it is going, entering the whole body.
Absolutely.
Any perfect doctor will not able to say that where it exactly is hitting the body.
Absolutely.
So this was the whole task for the software done by him. And I would say, and I can have a liberty for saying that thing, that like when we were making the vaccine, it was not only the vaccine as a product, it was also his software analysis at the same thing, which he did. He has a patent for the software. It's a trademark named on him. It's not for the companies, for him, because he made it out. And it was more about that the software is telling you where exactly after the vaccine and how many seconds the vaccine entering the bloodstream is hitting the organ, the affected area, and how the tumor part is getting hit by the microRNA component, and when it's about to start the things now. So it is a whole journey which is coming in milliseconds, and it is not about like a ECG coming with a graph. It's actually showing you a human body form where the liquid hits with the in the bloodstream, going directly to the breast part, affected breast part, and getting attached there. So that's the beauty of the software.
Absolutely.
And actually also producing the other compounds just to prevent it and to protect the barrier, because it's allowing the vaccine not to evade out of the other affected part, because we have to also stop it. Even though it started, we still have to stop it somewhere. We have to cut the connections with the other, I would say, blood supply, that the cancer cells cannot enter the other area. So that's the beauty of his software, because 15,000 genes and I say 45,000 proteins is incredible to study within the span of 1 year.
So from my personal perspective, how do you stay motivated and inspired to push the boundaries of AI and biotechnology in pursuit of transformative healthcare solutions?
See, since I was a kid and I had my first computer at the age of 6, I remember this from my father where he told me very clearly, because I asked him, what's a computer for? He was giving me a computer. He told me, son, in a computer you can do whatever you can imagine. And I was like, oh, okay. And at that time, it wasn't true, because I wasn't able to do a lot of things, just drawings in PowerPoint and then things like that. But then as I grew up, computer still was something very close to me. I always started trying to learn new things out of it, how to code, how to also use other type of softwares like Photoshop, things like that, for the sake of learning. Video editing and all these things, I always feel very towards passion about the softwares. After going to the university, studying computer sciences, and started learning about a little bit of machine learning and the potential that it has, I started thinking I want to learn AI. I want to learn more about AI, go more into deep with it. When I had the chance to go and study abroad more into AI in the medical field, I was very excited about it. And actually, I never find a reason to actually be motivated about keep studying AI and keep pushing forward about it, because it's been there all the time. It's I don't know if it had become a habit for me already, for continuously going into reading articles about AI, not only in the medical field, I would say in the mental health field also as well. I was very interested also in the past about the medical, mental health things with AI. So right now it's just, I guess it's been an outcome of a lot of things that happen around in my own environment in my life. So it just came natural to me. So that's what I can say about how to stay motivated on the medical field with AI.
Wow, that's wonderful. So what are some of the key differences in market dynamics and consumers' behavior that genetics research has observed between India and other global markets?
It's but I think it needs a little bit more of a push. If we can because this was something that I was discussing with Arun yesterday. Like, why don't we bring like some institutions like we're doing in the UK with other universities? Why don't we bring like the technology that we're developing, the technologies that are out there to India? Because there is a lot of potential here for like great talent as researchers. I've seen it in the UK, a lot of Indian communities there, and they're very good in the research. So why should all the talent should be going out of India? Some of the talent should be kept here and should be like help growing in the AI field, especially in the research field. And anyone can actually learn AI. There's a lot of courses out there, but sometimes like some people just need a little bit more of push. So by the 2025, maybe by mid 2025, maybe we've been discussing to bring something to India for that. Bring campaigns to the institutions and universities where we can like spread more about how to use AI, how it can be used in multiple fields, not only in the medical field. And so in that way, we can also help out India to help to get more up into the research, because it's out there already. I've seen some of the articles that some researchers from India have wrote beautiful papers out there using AI, but I think it can be improved a little bit.
I will add to this point is that the Indians in the UK, especially the students who are coming for masters, the bachelors or the PhDs, I think something is there in the mindset is that we have to go for finance, for medicine, or like nursing, or like law. That's it. The 4 degrees, the prominent degrees, which we have been also grown in the families for that. Something in between will only be done when something new comes in the market, and like there is a more widespread of the news that okay, AI is helping us for vaccine treatment also now.
Yeah.
I didn't knew until I didn't meet this guy. I didn't know about AI anything. I was also like, I don't know what is AI. I don't know. I know about my medical thing. Medical doesn't say AI, so I don't know AI. That was whole my thing point. I think that computer engineers are only sitting and working and coding for gaming programs or for Microsoft.
Yeah.
That will be little like a rude way to say it, but I don't know much about that. So I was also like learning side by side and still learning with him, because he reads a lot of papers about that. He always educates me more about AI going in a different field about this thing. But I think like having a vaccine which is made up of not for biological component, but with the help of the analysis with the AI, I think there will be something coming up with the Indian mindset, but maybe the Indians will go more prominent, and there will be new disruption in the education system where the government will initiate that certain courses have to be included.
Absolutely.
Also.
And as an Indian, every Indian needs and proof. So once they accept it, so the first key factor is acceptance. Once it is done, then I feel that no, nothing can be stopped here.
Well, I would say that validation is a key, like for satisfaction for Indians. I know personally myself how much validation I have to give to my family that I did it, I made this thing. No, you can't. Someone, you copied somewhere. It's not possible what you're saying. It's not there in that paper. Aaj Tak didn't publish it. It's not there. ABP doesn't say that. It's not there.
Absolutely.
I understand the point validations coming for is the big news channels and the Times has to publish that something.
Yeah,
but the journey is that we have to still aware the people, and then we are taking an initiative step today, coming out, and then we talk about them, and then we publish, and then we have to publicize more and more about, because this is how we're going to be giving to each Indian household, asking all the mothers and sisters, please go and have the breast cancer vaccine.
Yes.
And then after once this vaccine is there, the brand has been trusted, there will be more coming out of that. Then you don't have to worry about anything.
Absolutely. And I believe that for the campaigns also, the targeted should be for the college students, because as they are smarter today, and they'll understand the language of AI also. So once they get into it, they definitely spread it across, because that's how the roots grow ahead, and then they can start up for their parents, probably their mothers and the women in their family. So it can definitely work out wonders, and I believe it is going to be surely, because this is a new concept, and once we accept, then the route is clear.
Apart from that, I think not only for AI entering with the vaccine development, but if you see cocktail microRNA, the component, if you have read about the thing, it's called cocktail microRNA vaccine. The cocktail is basically people who drink, so like, okay, cocktail is different.
Yes.
Which cocktail you're providing now in this type of vaccines to go?
Right.
But I would say in the medical terminology, cocktail means when 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 different compounds mixed
together.
Yeah, and there's a long linear chain and entering all together. So that's his, and microRNA is basically a shorter form of a protein for functioning now, to produce and to combine towards a tumor-based type of thing. So I think that was the thing we did. And to be honest about this, when we made this thing, the criticism we also faced was about, you can't use microRNA for a vaccine. People use mRNA. All the vaccines are for mRNA. MicroRNA, it's very difficult. It's not to be done. It's very dangerous. And we said, no, when something is dangerous, if you manipulate it, it could be useful for us. MicroRNA is already there in our body.
Yeah.
We have proteins, we have mRNA, we have DNA, we have RNA, we have everything inside the body. So if we're using the same components, which is growing in a very adverse effects, we can use for them. And we can also like calculate the cause, and we can stop the reaction, and then we can say, okay, this is stopping that kind of function now. So it's cut. And we can gonna be like inserting a new microRNA instead of that old microRNA, just like coming up as on the top as a sandwich now. So this was the whole concept for that. And doctors was like, this is very dangerous. We should not do animal studies also for this. They're gonna kill the animal. This is animal cruelty. I said, no, you should try for that. If something happens, we are taking the responsibility for that. When we know that it's not going to happen, because we had a confidence about this, even though we were deep down nervous inside, but we have to be staying strong for that.
So if I ask you, what are the challenges and opportunities to expand genetics research?
Well, I think as genetics research, as the CEO of the genetics, I would say that right now we're expanding its horizons to reach every country, every medical sector and every medical organization around the globe. And I would say also WHO, we want to have that in board, so that they can also like be a trustworthy body for us to prevent that. Yeah, they are very safe to use, like other vaccines are about that. And I think in terms of I would say about India, I think government is still doing the best initiatives we can do, because they are the only one. The biggest challenge they have to face is about uniting every hospital and pharmacies together to distribute this product towards all the women's across the India from top to the north. And I would say that it's basically a different journey for us, because we are not only working on breast cancer, we are also working about kidney, prostate, we are also ovarian cancers. Then we are coming up with the new medications such like paracetamol, dolo. We are also coming something up with that. So this is all going in the R&D pipeline. We already have designed the beautiful products, and I think this is what we are going to be launching it slowly and slowly. We are right now wanted to make a trust of the brand. We want that the Brejix or genetics should be trusted, as Serum Institute is renownedly trusted, as AstraZeneca is trusted, Pfizer is trusted. We want to do the similar thing. In UK, apart from Pfizer, we have GSK, the big things, because they're making Johnson & Johnson baby products. They were widely used. People believe Johnson & Johnson is the best thing. They don't know the side effects, but they say that's the trusted brand. But we are claiming that there is no side effects. But for that, we have to prove a lot of things, a lot of challenges from our side. We have to do a lot of trust validations. It's more about that how we are approaching people's house, and they don't want to slam the doors, but you have to be very polite. Like, no, it's fine. Just okay, go to the next door then. But we have to still like do a marketing of the product in such a way that they do like, they trust it. They trust from the heart. They don't have to be like that. No, but still there's other brands available. They can do it. Why we chase you? So we want all the pharmaceuticals like Serum Institute also collaborate with us in such an initiative where we together like have a awareness for a brand, because we're still a very upcoming young company. Right. So there's a lot to be like achieve in certain 5 years of the goal of the company at the moment. So this is what we're doing at most about that then.
So since you've been talking about Brejix as compared to other vaccinations also, because it is always a vice versa. You've been talking about the benefits. Do you really address it to the points where along with any other points are also being catered in this? It's not just about the targeting the breast cancer, but yes, of course, compared to other body parts or other organs also.
Well, I would say that no, it's like a precision medicine. It's basically that it's like a safer therapy for one organ. Yeah, it's precision medicine, basically precise on one specific area of the body, because other vaccines must have an effect on other body parts.
Yeah, because once it gets into the bloodstream,
it goes everywhere.
It goes everywhere.
We are targeting directly towards the organ now. I would say that like any women going for a breast cancer shots, like who has a cancer, who doesn't have a cancer. So stage 0 to 1 is basically one dosage. Stage 2 and 3 is 2 doses, and stage 4 is 3 doses.
Right.
The treatment term line is same as chemo does, but in this you are actually getting more wider spread for your own self. You are like treating your own body by yourself. Imagine the days when there was no medical sciences and we are living in medieval era. How was you treating your body? That's the same concept, because that has been taken from that concept. Like if we don't have any medical technologies available as we have today, still we're gonna be treat our bodies. Body will be able to treat itself. Animal doesn't require to go to doctors, they can treat by themselves. That's the same concept we have for ourselves here.
Right.
So we divided a dosage accordingly to the stages of the cancer in this term. And I would say that the process for healing a body starts from the 9th or 10th day only. And doctor will validate that for you with the help of the software and the device which are giving along to the hospitals. We are not saying that just have the vaccine and our job is over. We earn money, we're going to be going to some island. We are not. We are saying that we're going to train your doctors and nurses for having the validation that how they have to see the patient after having a vaccination. How are you going to monitor them? Call them back to the clinics, ask them to have a next shot, attach a device to them, and now see what is happening. Show them live, how they're able to treat, because that is causing a positivity in the body that yeah, we are treating now, we are getting rid of this thing. So that's in the mindset. It's a placebo effect. We are showing them life now. You are taking a paracetamol, you said now I'm going to be fine with the fever. But still it takes 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
How would you know the paracetamol is affecting only to a central nervous system but not going anywhere else there?
Right.
So we are showing the same thing, that you see the organ is getting treated from 10th day onwards. Within next to 1 month, you're going to be fine. But depends upon the severity of the disease there.
Right. Yeah. So as compared to the fresher, if I'm talking about the normal person who comes and takes the vaccination, so how it is going to be there? It's going to be there a single dose, or it's going to be 2 doses?
I would say it's a single dose.
It's a single
dose, that's it. And for the person who has a breast cancer with little bit of symptoms, there are 2 doses then for them. And a stage 3, stage 4, we are saying that have 3 doses.
Okay.
It's good to have it, because then you are not only treating but also having a cure for the further growth of the body, because you never know if the body again has a cancer, then what's you going to do? Go for the chemo then? We are not saying that.
Right.
We are cutting the cost for operations, the surgeries, the bed, the distribute, the medicines, the food here, because you can eat whatever you want to eat.
Right.
Prevent alcohol, but still you can have it in moderations. We are saying that you have everything you want to do. There is not cutting that don't have that.
Okay.
Don't have this. We are saying that you're going to be treating yourself easily now, and that is what we want for the people.
Right. So in this case, like are there any side effects or risks associated with the vaccination?
No, there is 0 side effects. This is what we are saying. This is also we want to believe the people. Every vaccine has a side effect. They have given a long leaflet saying muscular pain, you're going to have nausea, you have going to be paralysis in the severe cases, acne, rashes, nothing. There's nothing. That's bullshit. Nothing is there. You're going to be safer with that.
That's amazing. How effective is the vaccine in preventing breast cancer?
I would say according to the UK MHRA and FDA, what we got a report is that it's 98.9%. Highest of any vaccination. That's like, because the benchmark is 45% for any vaccination to launch in the market. And then depends upon us how the organs and how the people have it, and then still it's different, but we are saying 98.9%, but still we want to, after launching in the market, we still want to do a little bit of research and want to cater that point percentage also, so it could be 100%, because animal trial was successful 100%, so we had the similar result from phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3, because the severity is there, country is different and people are different, genetics different, so sometimes reports like here, but 98.9% still is very high achievable mark that I won't think any company did it till now.
So are there any plans for clinical trials and research in India for the long-term effects?
Right now the phase 3 is getting over, and USA already has done the phase 3s, phase 1, phase 2, there's no phase 3, and coffee phase when we did it was only phase 1 there, because they approved the FDAs. I would like that the Indian government still do phase 1 and phase 2 for their satisfaction, for their validation, because here there are more pharmaceuticals and here there are more vaccine product and development. So I think they should do phase 1, phase 2 for their own hospitals, but directly testing on the patients, just to see that is it the same, matching their standards or not, because it's going to be giving us more possibility for entering the South Asia market then. So from this we are able to cater Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, China. So this is what we're going to be also getting a trust of the brand, and people can trust that yes, something is producible, something is achievable.
How can a person educate their family? Now, this is the key point for every individual. As I said earlier also, women normally tend to lose their interest to show self-care, and unless and until one says, the other won't realize what is happening in the body's anatomy. So, how can a person educate?
I would say there should be more self-awareness. There should be more self-awareness by not only the family, the friends, but also from the education system itself. Still, it's a very niche market about that. I would say via podcast that like when we were in school, there was not openly discussed about the hygiene, about the sexual health and all the things. But I would say that right now the market is quite different, the era is quite different. The more education is given about the body itself, about different parts, and I think we should stop believing on those people who are being experts without having expertism on the certain topics, because everyone tries to be expert but doesn't know what is exactly happening. Imagine you don't have a symptom of cancer, but if you Google on, like, you just Google it up. I'm having a headache. Google say you have cancer. That's
Google
been
has
trained like
answer
that.
for any question. You ask it, you
yeah.
get both the answers,
Yeah,
positive,
yeah.
negative, both.
Yeah, so I would say that like more self-awareness, the campaign should be done more and more.
With the experts.
I would say with the experts.
With the experts.
And I would say with the manufacturers itself of the product, because they also did a research about that.
Absolutely.
I would say that the first campaign when the government runs in India, we're going to be there to educate everyone, to be on the panel, join with the doctors. Of course, the experts of the experts are doctors or cancer specialists, but we can also like educate about our product, because this is something that we created and we want the trust of the doctors there, so they can tell the people, because in the end doctors are getting a patients. And we will not get the report how many patients came to the doctor.
Right.
But still we can just initiate something for them. I was also talking to like Dr. Rios about that, and I think he also told me the same thing, that universities should be involved. Yes. All the universities, like DU, Amity, Mumbai University, everyone should be involved. I would say that's a better call, because they have more colleges, more widespread, and then they have a youth. Most of the females are coming in the university, so they will be getting to know about it. And from there, the widespread and the mouth spread can happen. And then I would say self-awareness can come from that side. Everyone knows how to be precautious only when they get the disease.
Absolutely.
But before that, there is nothing.
Yes, of course.
So this is only we want to stop the disease, initial things only in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Have a precaution vaccine then. Everyone have a precaution. We are to saying have a precaution vaccine. Don't have to go like homeopathy. Have a homeopathy, some doses, and you're fine. Yeah, we are going to be fine.
That is, I feel the mindset is there.
Yeah. That's a placebo then.
Yes.
That's how this precaution is also placebo. You're not getting it.
Yeah.
And we are claiming that with our reports, that after having a precaution, if you're a stage 0, primarily stage 0, you're not getting any vaccine, you're not getting a cancer. You're just safe from the cancer. Because cancer is not about a person who are getting affected, but also the whole family who's going to lose that one thing. Financials, mental stability, and then trauma to the person.
Yes.
So there are a lot of factors involved. So we are stopping the person to enter that zone only in the beginning. And it's only not breast, it's about other body parts. You can get cancer anywhere.
Yes.
But starting is from breast, because that's more wide and very common type of the cancer in the women. So we're starting from the women. The women's believers, they can tell their men, and the men can spread the message among their friend circle.
Absolutely.
This is what we want to enter like that. So I think the trust should be coming from a women, and then it goes to the family from there. So this is what we are trying our best to get it now.
So are there any misconceptions about breast cancer or its treatment that you'd like to address?
I would say that there is one there are more misconceptions in the market, but how the treatment caters. The treatment to treatment, it depends upon that. People say that chemo 5 injections you're going to get sorted out. No. You lose your life on the 5th because your body gives up. Chemo, like the therapy, is very, very expensive, but also about the dosage of the injections. The dosage going in your body. It is not only affecting your cancer growth, but also your live cell growth in the body. Everything is catered at the same time, because chemo, the moment it enters in the body, is going to see which is the fastest growing cell in the body. Tumor also is there, hair cells is also there, and normal immune cells is also there, and RBCs growing faster, replicating. It's going to kill all the things at the one point, because it is made like that. It's a faster way to cater a cancer, but still very, very life-threatening at the same time. Then hormonal. You're playing with the hormonal therapy just because to cater the estrogen and progesterone in the body. But you see that if overdoses happens, what it can lead to, adverse effects. So this is a thing we have we're trying to prevent about that from our vaccine.
Definitely, absolutely. And
Misconceptions can also occur when people are not aware. So we are trying to also like educate the doctors in the end that you should be telling the truth to the patient way before if you cannot do the treatment, or tell all the possible ways, because sometimes they're working for the big organizations but they're also getting the things for the organization, not for themselves. So we are trying to like cut short the things only. The patient should be the one, because he's getting affected or she is getting affected, and they can try to learn more and more from themselves only.
Right.
Because the body is theirs.
Right, absolutely. And now since we've been talking about the doses, if any person has already taken any vaccinations, so is it okay if the person is again going and opting this vaccination?
I would say no.
Okay.
It should not be done like that. It's gonna be having a different dosage. And if you're taking a precaution vaccination for this, I would say you should have a gap of at least 6 to 9 months in between before entering this thing, because suddenly if you have a HPV and coming for the breast cancer vaccine, it's going to cause an adverse effect for both the vaccine in the body, because it's microRNA. And already you took a vaccine for mRNA. mRNA, microRNA compounds mixed together, forming a new thing in the body, and both the companies who made it gonna be like destroyed in milliseconds. It's gonna be very life threatening. So I would say that have a gap between the doses, take some time, because you should have at least 6 to 9 months optimum, and after 9th month if you feel like, you can go for breast cancer precaution. But if the person is having a cancer, then there are different ways for that, and we can give a minimum dosage requirements which can still save the patient but also try to prevent in further growing the disease. It depends patient to patient. For healthy patients should be avoided, I would say.
Now finally, the tips and guidelines that you'd like to give to every woman who is watching this.
I would say that let's Dr. Rios start this thing. What's the tips you want to give to the women first of all?
The tips and the guidelines for preventing?
Yes.
Well, the family should be there all the time for like starting like having this type of conversations, because sometimes people doesn't know that they think that they won't get any disease. And I think that's one of the main problems. People doesn't think like, yeah, cancer, that won't happen to me. And suddenly it just hits. Started feeling some symptoms, and at the time they go to check themselves, then they already have the cancer, and sometimes it's a little bit advanced. So I would say like have a constant check on yourself, have a constant conversation about this within the family, and also it should be spread also by the educational system, not only in terms of the methods for checking your own body, but also in nutrition. That's also a very key thing, also to be always like checking on yourself. And I think finally, like there is already some information out there already in the social media, but like most of these social media such as TikTok and Instagram always prevail the algorithms to show whatever they want as a marketing. But I think that can also be used in a positive way to also indulge some awareness to the people as well, as part of some of the things that can be done out there for the people to always be aware of this type of diseases, and not to wait for the last day when they already feel the symptoms, so it might be a little bit too late already.
I would only like to add that people say that, and the doctors also say that like alcohol smoking is injurious to health, and there is a big banner comes in the movie theaters and everything. Like it's not injurious. Overdose is injurious.
Absolutely. Anything that's beyond it.
Yeah, because I would not lie that ethanol as a product is also used for vaccine development. It's there in the vaccination. It's there in the medication also. You're having ethanol concentrate in the medical also. Everywhere you have it, but you can't say that it's injurious, because people say that if you're smoking or if you're drinking, you're gonna have cancer. But the thing is that genetic factors also have it. It's hereditary.
Yes.
How could you say someone like that? What if the person doesn't get cancer, but you are saying you can get cancer? So it's like it's not dependable only upon the alcohol and smoking. It's like that you should control the limitation, because we can't stop people like that. You can't just have it, because smoking cigarettes have also the banners are there like of the tobacco is injurious, but it should be in limitations. And I would also say that like apart from the women's getting it, men should also promote it, because if they have a single family and by God forbid, if a wife gets breast cancer, they don't know what to do. They rush hospital to hospital to get that guidance, and they contact everyone in their friend circle. But no one knows exactly what to do. Everyone gonna say go to the hospital, admit the women, they're gonna have a surgery, they're gonna have this and that. In UK, I know a lot of people, a lot of men take like the loans just for the cancer treatments. It's very high. How could you gonna be paying interest rate for such treatments at private hospital if you don't know what to do in the beginning? So I think men should also be aware of that, because it's not only for them but also for their family and their friends, and also will be like kind of neighbors, as a duty to understand the respect for that and kind to prevail the situation before it gets much higher in severity.
The entire conversation is all about for the women, and just our point is, and our mission is to save every woman. The moment a girl child is born, it's the responsibility of the family to give that impact. So the future is bright, because a woman is not just for herself, she's for the family. And you as a family member, everyone, be the male member, has to take the initiative, taking care of the family member, and women is the star, so you have to take care. And we just have to start with these vaccinations. And since we've been talking about vaccinations, lastly I'd like to know one point: what age should a woman, a girl, enter into a clinic for this vaccination?
I would say age 16. 16 onwards. 16 up to higher, 64 above should be there.
So once the girl in the family is 16, it's the responsibility of the family to take her to the gynaec and get it checked up and get the vaccinations done for the breast cancer. And that is the first step you can take to save the best and the beautiful creation of the universe.